Nova Scotia Black Indian, back with another episode. I'm coming to you early Sunday morning. Um, I probably woke, well, I didn't probably, I did. I woke up at 3. We've had the clocks changed back last night, so the time changed, or it didn't go back, it went ahead. So when I looked at the clock, it was 4 o'clock and it was really 3. So keeping in time with the pattern that's been happening, uh, 3 o'clock in the number 3 is keeps coming up. But when I woke up this morning, I don't know why, but I checked my phone and I noticed that there was a live chat going on with Michi X, which is someone who I've followed. I've been following Michi since she come on the scene. So I have watched her growth. I've watched her channel grow. I've watched her grow, and I've also watched her remain 10 toes down in her delivery and coming with her receipts. So I got to give a shout out to you because you, Miss Pisces, have been an inspiration to this Cancer Leo woman warrior over here. Very, very good podcast, because this is not about Michi X, but I just wanted to give the shout out and I wanted to give her flowers if she should ever see this, because you are inspiring women and men. You are embodying what does need to be done. In watching your journey and seeing how you want our community to grow and how it starts with us, and you are actually feet on the ground doing it. And you're giving us a living example of what can be done. And I know that Michi's probably just one of them. And as I speak, this is going to be somebody that's going to listen to this and say, you know what, I don't ride with her, and blah, 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 for all your, whatever your reasons are. Well, you do you, boo. You do you. Because over here, we going to do me. Anyways, getting back to my point about us coming together and rebuilding our society again. And right now, I am talking to the melanated race. We are the ones. And I'll go even more pointed with the comment that I just made about the melanated race. I am talking about the original organic people of the land, because it is us people who are so divided in these times. Not only are we divided, but we are in the worst state probably that we could ever be in. Worst state financially, worst state in terms of our families. A lot of our families are in breakdown, or we are just separated. And this is all going on during a reset. We're resetting for a reason. Now, going back to the podcast, because you can tell I'm a little bit worked up. I just needed to come to the camera because something that is happening, what I see happening in society, is there is a war going on between melanated women and melanated men. We gotta stop. We got to stop. Our fucking house is burning down. I don't give a fuck whether you are in fucking United States or you're in Canada. And we know Turtle Island, America's. These things that are keeping us divided, masculine, feminine. Yes, we both carry this the same. Who's the head? Who's going to be the head? And I realize that there is that undercurrent of fear and resistance. All of that's going on right now. And what is the fear and the resistance? Because when we start turning back to a matriarchal or returning back to a matriarchal society, there is a threat. And I'm beginning to see and feel that threat. And I guess it was always there. We are just now, because you know what? We are in the shift of that change. But in order for that change to happen, there are some things that need to take place. And guess what, folk? It will take place whether we want to or not. Whether we want to or not, it's some change is going to take place. It'll be, what is the change that we are looking for? What is the building? You want to talk about who's the head? Well, Christ. We got to get this shit together before we can figure out who the fuck is going to lead. Find out what our strengths and our weaknesses are. Stop letting our egos get in the way, because it stops conversations. And you know, I'll tell you, so many good points were brought out into this podcast. Because they talked in this podcast about how we could start building our communities and finding, you know what, dealing with your local farmer. If you do have a farmer that is already got something going, do you need to rebuild that, or do we work together? Because starting from where we are starting, we don't have to start from scratch. This is the point that was being made in this podcast, that we have individuals who already have things into place. We need to come together to work with those individuals. But we are allowing our differences to stop us from doing that. I don't deal with this person because you know what, they have a belief system that it doesn't 100% align with mine. Or I'm not going to deal with that because you know what, I don't agree with this or that. We may have a common goal, but I'm not going to work with them. All these different various reasons, and then that's not going to count. That's not counting the Willie Lynch that is taking place amongst us as melanated people. And the fact that, you know what, there's still some of us that deny whether that even friggin' happened. Whether it happened or whether it didn't happen, the end result is, guess what? We're not trusting one another. We've got color issues going on amongst us. There's, you want to talk about the house Negro and the field Negro? Ba, 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 ba. Done. We need to, at the end of the day, come together. Because guess what? When your house is burning down, you don't go looking where your house slippers are. That's not what you're looking for. And we got a whole bunch of people around here looking for the house slippers whilst the house is burning down. I'm going to say this. I have talked about healing and the need to heal. If you do not heal that of in which needs to be healed, and that of in which this universe has been nudging you to deal with, it's going to affect your thinking. If your thinking is outdated, and we have a lot of outdated thinking, we're not going to be able to have progressive conversations. Change is necessary. So before we get worrying about, you know what, the gender roles and who's supposed to do this and who's supposed to do that, let's try working together. And I speak this because coming up in a family of 13 and coming in a family of two married parents, and as I said, growing up in poverty, what I did see is this: two individuals who decided to hang in there together. And I can guarantee you that if my dad had to do this shit by himself with those 13 children, I don't think my dad could have done that. And if my dad were here sitting beside me, he would tell you that. Because it was my mom who was always pulling all the ends together. And that became very evident when my father died when I was 5. 5. She was left with those 13 children. Where the food was coming from, how we were going to heat, how we were going to get the house repairs done, how she was going to put those kids into school, how she was going to clothe them, how she. And let me tell you something, my mother never remarried, was never in a relationship after my father, other than a bed down. So we want to talk about gender roles and what one is capable of doing. There is no doubt the capabilities of a woman. My whole point being is I will also tell you this. There was more power when she was working with my father. And there was sometimes more peace. I've been kind of ranting. It's not a rant. It's just my frustration. I see this shift and I see the division. And I also know that we are in breakdown. And I also know that these kind of conversations do need to take place because you know what? I'll tell you the true spirit and nature and feelings of an individual is that may have been hiding. That's what's really coming in. And this is what we're seeing more. And we need to put it on the table, see where we're at, see where we are at, figure out how we are going to constructively move forward together. How can we create our fist? How can we create our fist again? Because I ain't gonna lie, that podcast tonight, it moved emotions through me because I did see how divided we are. I would just like to see us come back together. That is what I'm going to put into the universe. That is what I'm manifesting. Because we are stronger together. Man, woman, it does not matter. Do your fucking healing. Acknowledge what needs to be changed inside of you. Because you're going to just keep creating damage. And we're going to keep circling around the same conversation. And I ain't feeling like I want to be stagnant. So here's my solution. Find your like-minded people. That's it. Find like-minded people and work with those people and build something from there. Because you know what? I'm not dealing with loose minds. I'm not dealing with a mind that is blocked. A mind that is not thinking in a progressive way. You're not going to suck up my energy. You're not taking my time and you're not taking my energy. We are in a rebuilding. Either get on board or don't. There is change happening, whether you wanted to or not. You better get used to change because there's going to be lots of change. Get ready to change your mind. Get ready to maybe even change where your physical space. Get ready for some changes and be ready to flow with the current, or you're going to get lost in your own sauce. I'm leaving you on this early Sunday morning. Ooh, with my new head bonnet. Head bonnet. I do like it too. You know, she moves around, doesn't come off. Because sometimes, you know what, my head wraps will come off at night. But I do, I like it. Once again, shout out, thank you to my sis. Anyways, I'm leaving you on this Sunday. Peace, love, healing, 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 healing. I'm going to say it again, healing. Heal yourself. Look at what needs to be healed so you can come into this game on a more productive level. So we can actually work together. Hit the like button if this resonates with you. Hit the subscribe button so we can grow this channel. And let's do this together. Let's build our community. Let's come up with some solutions. And put in the chat where you're at in terms of this conversation. Put in the chat a change that you would like to see. And even better, put in the solution on what you think is a solution. That's how we're going to do this. It's going to start to generate a conversation, which is starting to generate change. Make a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's blow this channel up. Let's make our voice count.